G'day, doggies, fans, all things Bulldogs. Welcome to the podcast. Sorry, I was a few minutes late there. Mark's already on. G'day, Mark. Welcome again. Just going to get my hat because I feel better with my hat on, showing my Bulldogs. You can see in the background there, I've got my Billy Army kick-out poster on the wall. So it's all starting to come together. Cost me about $6 to get printed. It's a canvas print, so it can be put onto a frame, or you can get a glass frame for it or whatever. I love it. I think it was taken in the Roosters game where he was so dominant. So there you go. Just be a second. Don't feel so bloody naked now. There we go. How's my little microphone going? Oh, there we are. G'day, Dave. G'day, Jamie. Welcome to the podcast, lads. Hope you're up for a good chat and a good discussion. So you can see that's a photo of last year's Jersey Flegg side. A few prominent people in that side. Harry Hayze, Lipoi Hopoi. We had, I think, Michael Gabriel, Jack Todd, Eli Clark, to name a few. Luke Smith, I think, Carlo Wapu, Damon Marshall, Koash Papali, and many others. No, I said g'day to you first. Sorry, buddy. There you are. Hello, brother. You must have missed it. Or maybe I said it too quickly before it come on. Anyway, hello, Mark, my number one fan. You should join and pay a subscription, Mark. And thanks for those people who have joined. It's lovely. Thank you very, very much. But you don't have to. But I'm going to try and come up with as much stuff as I can. So there you go. Alrighty. Sorry, I was just looking at someone sent me a message. So we have a really good side that's fronting up, has made the grand final in the Jersey Flegg. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Jack Underhill returns for the grand final. Ruben Moyle's been good all season. Damon Marshall's there again. Logan Spinks from the Greater Northern Tigers. Luke Smith was also from them, and he played quite a bit of New South Wales Cup this year. Toilalo was brilliant in the semi-final series. Steve Reardon's son, Jed. Bud Smith's son, Jason Smith's son, Bud Smith. The fellow who looks I don't know how to say it, but Wavik, he's he's from PNG, come down from the Cowboys, can play fullback, wing, centre. Scored a couple of tries in the grand final qualifier on the wing, but he's been replaced by Jonathan Sewer. And the other winger, our Harold Matz, winger from Fiji, Wavik, Ringy Karma. Sorry, I get the names all mixed up. How do you do that? I don't know. So Geordie Mazzoni's also on the extended bench, so we may see him. Tate Cochran, he played really well throughout the final series as well. But Rinny Karma, Ratu, very, very good player. Danny Gabriel goes up against his older brother, Michael, who was swapped to the Sharks for Connor Tracy. So you can see the links there. Afualo in the centres, he is absolutely massive. So we've got some talent in this side. And I don't know how the hell they're supposed to keep these players. I really don't. When you start to fall in love with the ones that are in the NRL side, it becomes a real packed sort of scramble to get into the NRL. And lots of important decisions have to be made, which is why I don't think we'll see, like Gus coming out and said it. He said that we probably won't see many more changes to the NRL squad. I think there's 28 positions there that are taken. And we'll talk about some news regarding player movements as well. So, look, it's a really good achievement for Canterbury to make another grand final in the Jersey Flegg. Josh Jackson's done a wonderful job after Luke Vella got us to the grand final last year, and he was upgraded subsequently to the NRL squad. And it's no surprise that some of the young guys that he helped nurture and bring through actually made their NRL debuts this year, as in Harry Hayze, Bailey Hayward and the like, and Lipoi Hopoi. So there's just really good stuff happening in our juniors and in our development, and we just need to keep that cranking. And good shout out here by Mark. Josh Jackson could be the next big thing. Well, he definitely could be. It's all based on mimicking hard work. Gus has given him a huge rap, and that's what we're going to look at. So, first year of coaching. So we'll see how he develops with that. But he could be one that works his way up through the grades. I think what would be good to see is to have someone in that under 21s around that pathways area, just stay there and coach there for 2 or 3 seasons and really bring those guys through. And then when you get that pack of youngsters come through that are really special, and these guys are obviously pretty bloody special already, but sometimes you just get a really vintage year. If you get that team, like the 2015 Panthers side, which I've talked about 100 million times, if you get that side, and you get to watch that come through, and then you move into sort of up through the ranks as they go through the ranks as well. So Serrato sort of went with those kids and got himself into that assistant role and stayed there for many years. And I could see Josh Jackson doing a similar thing, and Luke Vella's already there now. So it's looking good for Canterbury as the way that they're developing coaches as well as they're developing their players as well. So I don't know how many times I can say as well in one sentence, but we'll do our best. So I'm proud as punch of these guys. So let's go and have a quick little look at the side. I've got it scrolling across there, but we'll line it up against the Sharks side there. So let's present that. There's also a little 2-minute video of Luke Smith, who played quite a bit of New South Wales Cup this year. He's the captain of the Jersey Flegg side. He's a rough and tough second rower. Could probably play lock and play a number of positions if need be. Probably end up being in the middle like the rest of the kids. But let's go through the side. Some big ins with Jonathan Sewer and Jack Underhill. With Geordie Mazzoni. Mitchell Woods is out of the side. So we've got Tay Cochrane, Ratu Ridikama, Danny Gabriel facing off against Michael. William Afawalo, Jonathan Sewer, Joseph Tuopa. So he's played really, really well as for the Bulldogs all season, and Cassius Tia, who got the winning field goal. And people are talking about Mitchell Woods, and we're talking about and Joey O'Neill. Well, Cassius Tia is definitely in that conversation, and you got Braithen Astor's young fella as well that he manages. His name slipped me. They always do, but that's normal. Jack Underhill, Lachlan Crouch. He looks like he could be a big goer for the Sharks. You know, you watch these juniors from other sides, they might end up at the Bulldogs one day. You never know. Lots of strike there for the Sharks. Samuel McCulloch, Dylan Coots, Max McCarthy. Look, the Sharks have been good in all these grades for the last few years, and so yet again they're right there. I think they were really competing hard for. I think they were top of the table in SG Ball and Harold Matts and and Jersey Flegg last year in different grades and didn't quite make the finals. But they've made the grand final this year after coming from behind. And they had to beat Penrith in a do-or-die match. So the Bulldogs beat Penrith first, and then they went out in straight sets, which was unusual for them. We then beat the Raiders, and the Sharks have come through. And not surprisingly, because the Raiders had to play double extra time, the loser of that Bulldogs-Raiders match was going to be sort of pretty puffed out and tired the next week, you would have thought. And that's how it's panned out. But I see a bunch of these Bulldogs players as future NRL players, hopefully NRL stars. Callum Donaldson played well in the semi-final. So he is there with Bud Smith, Jed Reardon and Patrick Young. Now, young Pat Young, he's not the biggest player, neither is Jed. Bud's tough as they come. So it's a very mobile bench, very mobile, in fact. I'm not sure it will start that way, but Jack does bring that size to the team. So I'm looking forward to this match, 11 a.m. on Saturday. If you're watching the AFL Grand Final, there's nothing wrong with that. Go the Swans. They're playing the Lions. So there you go. No Melbourne team. And as I said, Ragarivi Warwick, unlucky not to be in the side, but he's still a chance, obviously, to join the team when they name their final squad tomorrow at 11 a.m. or Friday at 11 a.m., I would suggest. We might see Geordie Mazzoni come in. And Geordie was named one of the Bulldogs to watch from John Curry when he came on for his interview, which was fantastic. So what are you guys saying at the moment? Don't even know where you are. What's happening? Oh, thanks, Dave. Alex Conti. That's it. Beautiful. G'day, Michael. Just graduated high school today, and we went to Jobel's Cafe with my family to celebrate, and then I ran into Gus. Very nice bloke. Got a photo with him. Also, I turned 18 last week. Time flies. Well, happy birthday, Michael. Big happy birthday to you, mate. And you got to meet Gus, so that's not a bad present. You've graduated your high school certificate today. Life now begins, as they say. So, yeah, mate, put your head down, bum up. Enjoy a bit of time off between now and when you start work or go to uni or whatever you plan to do. But, you got exams in 3 weeks. Damn. Well, head down, bum up, as they say. And you're going to the grand final. Very excited for the young guns. Well, it is the grand final. It is the main grand final for us. It's the Jersey Flegg. So we're going to go back to back. Very, very good. Rennie Karma graduated from my school last year. Fantastic kid. Oh, tell me as much about him as you can. I'll tell you what, he can play, that kid. We've got some good talent out there. Like, it's no wonder. It's we can't get too far ahead of ourselves. We've fallen in love with the players that are there now because there's some talent coming through. And if they're as good as what we've got there, that's good news for us. So Mike is the young gun. G'day, Adam. How you going, brother? Great to see you as well, my friend. Thanks for coming on. All right, let's get into it. So, the app, the New South Wales Rugby League app, I think's $8 a month. So if you're you might even get a free trial. So if you join up and there's a free trial for the grand final, you can cancel it after you watch the game. If you like their content, pay that each month. But yeah, that's the way you watch the game this week. That's what I'll be doing. Trying to cast it onto the bigger screen, but probably just watching it on the telephone, on my mobile, as I normally do. Finally got a live stream. Yeah, you got to be quick there, Adam. No, I managed to get one out to you. I remembered to send a few messages out tonight, so
Your top 8 predictions for Addo-Carr. So welcome back to the podcast, Addo-Carr. Look, we'll do a lot of predicting. We'll predict our best 17s for 2025. Once we're pretty settled on a top 30 or close to what it's going to be to start next year, then we can start doing that. I ran a comp last year. The winner of that comp went missing. So he didn't get his prize. So I've still got those prizes up for grabs. And we'll do some other stuff as well. Didn't talk to Rennie Carr much. Was a shy fella, but from what I heard, he's very humble. He did pretty decent in his results at school. Well, that's good. He's not only a good bloody athlete and a good winger, but he goes all right. He's got it between the ears as well. I hope you're feeling better, mate. Glad you're back on the podcast. All right. We'll talk about our All Things Bulldogs 1979 to 2024 side. I'm slowly getting that out. I did the best 5'8". Obviously Terry Lamb won in a cakewalk, in a canter or whatever it is. And Steve Mortimer will win the halfback, but I will be putting out that to vote on because it's important everyone gets their say. And we've had quite a big, number of votes for the side. It is a popularity contest. But the team so far is Luke Patton, on the left wing, Matty Utai, left centre, Josh Morris, right centre, Stephen Crichton, and right winger is Hazem El Masri. And our 5'8" is Terry Lamb. So there you go. I think the forwards is going to be really tough, and it's going to be quite. Yeah, I think it's going to go down to the wire on some of those votes because when you're putting up players like Paul Dunn, Peter Tunks, they'll have a lot of support. When you got players such as David Gillespie, we've got Hughes brothers who play in the forwards. At hooker, you got Paponis and you got Bugden, and you've got, Adam Perry won a grand final and was in the side when they went 17 in a row. You've got Reed Marnie, who might get some votes based on his courageousness and the amount of work he's done in the last 2 years. Whether he's had some moments or not doesn't matter. Michael Lennis. There's just so many names we can go through. Obviously, the 6 and the 7 are a bit of a standout, but not everyone watched them play, you know what I mean? So we just get to see. So if you're passionate, get on there and vote. And I probably should have done a competition to see who could get the closest team to what everyone votes for. But anyway, I like giving stuff away, as you might have noticed. Luke was one of your favourite players. He was one of mine too. But Addo-Carr, who was his top 8 predictions? Sorry, I've got to go back. Storm, Sharks, Panthers, Dogs, Rabbitohs, Manly, Broncos, and Warriors. There you go. I'll wait for the draw before I put my top 8 predictions in. So we'll see how we go. And shout out to Nick, who runs the history of the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. He said he's watching the show right now. So if you want to come and say hello, come say hello, buddy, on the chat. G'day, Peter. Ennis ain't a Bulldog. Well, he won a comp with the Sharks. He was still a Bulldog, captain our side, mate. And to me, he looked like he put his ass on the line every time he went out to play. Ennis obviously has a bit of ego as well, and because he's won that comp with the Sharks, his heart might be there now, but that doesn't mean he wasn't a deserved. If the fans vote for him, they vote for him because he's definitely one of the best hookers that I've seen play for Canterbury in the last so ever long. So there you go. Who knows? Mickey's he's a Fox Sports commentator now, and he loves to talk up people are doing well and talk down people who aren't doing well, and they're pretty good at that. Roosters won't be top 8. They lose a lot of players next year.
we'll see how they go. They've apparently paying big money to all these juniors that are coming through, or they're obviously waiting for someone to take a punt on in the marketplace. So got to see what happens with them. Michael's predictions are the Storm, Dogs, Panthers, Sharks, Bunnies, Roosters, Broncos, and Dragons. Let's hope in 2025 we can get to the prelims, hey, Bulldogs family. That's what I think top 4 is definitely on the radar. But I'll say it here and I'll say it now. It's such a long season. Lots can go wrong. And we just have to see what happens at the end of the day. For me, what matters to me is these players go out there and put it on the line every week. So I'm not scoreboard focused. The round 1 in 2024 against Parramatta, I felt better about that loss than I'd felt about some of our wins the year before. So we lost that game by what? They scored 4 tries. They had 72% possession with 11 minutes to go, the Eels. And we only let in 4 tries and then got 2 back ourselves. And nearly got another to give us a sniff. So, but missed the goals, obviously, from the sideline, which was a tale of the year. But there was something about that performance that I went, hey, and that's what I'm looking for. If they just keep putting their body on the line, keep turning up in defence, if you're giving away 70% possession, you're going to get flogged. Simple as that. To only lose by that amount. And I don't care where Parramatta finished on the table. They were rocking and rolling in round 1 of this season, and they looked like they could have beaten anyone or anything in that game. And then we come out against the Sharks, and we looked phenomenal for that first 25 minutes. And that first half, we should have led 18-6. But we didn't. Then we didn't get the ball back for the second half, and we lost it. Come out and smash the Titans. What a season. And that's what I want to see from our boys. G'day again, Chopper, and thank you so much. Joey Thomas. Here we go. Joey Thomas, number 9. And sorry I didn't mention him because he's definitely going up there. He'll be definitely in one of the top 5. I think you got Paponis, you got Joe Thomas, you've got a few others, and we'll vote on them, and we'll see who comes out. And Joe Thomas doing a fantastic job on the Canterbury Bankstown board. And thanks again, mate, for the much appreciated. David Gillespie, Paul Dunn, who did a fantastic job on our board as well. And he's still doing a lot of stuff for charity and a very smart man. Gillespie's come back to the club. Steve Folkes will be my vote for second row. He'll be the first person he'll be the only one I vote for because you'll only be able to pick one. Jimmy Dimmick will definitely be there as the best lock, and I reckon he'll be very hard to beat from that position. And Peter Kelly will be one of the there'll be 10 props to name, there'll be 10 second rowers, and there will be 5 locks, 5 hookers to choose from. So get excited about that. Then I might just do, for all the people who vote, I might grab all the names of all the people on Facebook and stuff like that who have voted as well. So come join the All Things Bulldogs Facebook group if you haven't yet. Anyone who's voted, I will go and look at the people who voted on there and might do a draw or something and send somebody a prize if they win. Because I've got some merch I can give away. Thanks, Chopper. Shout out to Chopper and bloody oath. And thank you, Adam, for that shout out to Chopper as well, mate. Abra says that Sharks round 2 game, we were 6-all until the 60th minute. Well, there you go. Probably was, yeah. We should have been up 18-6 at half time. We had a try disallowed, which was absolute bullcrap. And I know a lot about that match because my mate
my mate had a bet on kick-out scoring, and it got disallowed. So there you go. Welcome, Timmy. Glad to have you back on, mate. So next week we're going to do a grand final preview. We're probably going to have a panel of about 4 or 5 people next week. Mark O'Connell's coming on. Oh, thanks for joining Adam. Much appreciated, mate. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. What's your top 17? Yeah, bloody mate, you can give me whatever you want, Chopper, and we'll put it on there and put it to a debate, and that's what we might all do as well. Come up, we can do lots of stuff, you know what I mean? We can do lots of stuff, but give us your best 17, Chopper. I want to see it. That's it. Hit the like button, everyone. Much appreciated. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So there you go. There you go. I'll tell you what, Chopper, I reckon the 17 you come up with, I'll be pretty close to it. I can tell you that much. It does include players from 2024 as well. But and people said that was a bit soon, and I went, yeah, I know, but we did it. That's what we went with. Timmy's going to Combank this Saturday. So if you're in Sydney, Combank Stadium, what a great place to support. Get out there and support the Bulldogs at 11 a.m. If they can get 1,000 or 2,000 or more Bulldog supporters there and make a lot of noise, that ground is like has such good. I forget the bloody word. Audio stuff happening. I forget the word. But it just sounds fantastic on the TV. I'll never forget when the Bulldogs beat the Titans there. The 11,000 Bulldogs fans yelling out, "Tino is a wanker," I think Corey Waddell got suspended for 5 matches for putting his hand over like that, for not gouging, not striking at the eyeball. Got 5 weeks and sin binned. There were 3 other incidents on the weekend where people actually suffered an eye injury from eye gouges and didn't even get a fine or a suspension or even cited. So that's me going, the Dogs are being fucking screwed here. Severely. But to hear that crowd put Tino off his game, and the way we played that game was phenomenal. Absolutely brilliant. I don't know if it was last year or actually it might have been the year before. It was when Burton got ragdolled by Tino and it was 2022 actually. Fucking hell, I'm living in the past, but there you go. Go to Combank Stadium, get out there, support the kids and chant Bulldogs. Win or lose, help them. Surely fly down to Combank Stadium, support the future premiership team of the Bulldogs. I'd love to, mate. It just family and work takes precedence, unfortunately. It's just the way it is at the moment. I would absolutely love to. But if you're down that way, get out there and watch it. And the ticket's only $10. It'll be 9 now. I'm going to stream it. I hope they stream it on 9 now in Queensland. Often Queensland won't, but they may, because the Queensland Grand Final has already been done for the QRL. That North Devils beat the Redcliffe Dolphins last week in a really good game. Tessie New was a standout. So that's their 3rd premiership in 4 years, which is pretty much unheard of for a long time in the QRL. It's sort of been spread out amongst some different clubs for a while. PNG had a good season, the Hunters, but anyway, I'll get off track. They might show it on 9 now for Queensland viewers. Hopefully they do, but normally you've got to have a VPN to watch it. If you're in Queensland or someone else, you won't get the New South Wales games. You only get the Queensland games on 9 now, which is so shit. But if you can't watch it on 9 now, you might be able to download that app and pay $7 or $8 for 1 week or whatever, or maybe get a free trial for 7 days or something, which is what I got initially when I joined up with it. It was bloody fantastic. Great to see they've signed up Jack Underhill. So, yeah, with Jack Underhill, Tim, he's going to be train and trial to start the year next year, I think, and then goes into development the year after for 2026, and then 2027, the third year of his contract, he's in the top 30. So it's a good way to stagger it along. They sort of used to do development before train and trial and cup, but now it's on the other side. And the reason is because you can have like Curtis Moran and Pawasa, who are in development but started the season in first grade. Whereas the train and trial players, they can't play until after round 10. So Harry Hayze was a train and trial player, but trained with the top 30 all pre-season. Similar with Bailey Hayward as well. But I think Bailey went from train and trial to development for this year, and next year he's in the top 30, right? So that's how it works. That's how it goes. It was round 19, 2022. Mick, by the way, beat him 36-26. And I'll tell you what, and Toby Sexton put on a kicking masterclass that game. That's the only reason they stayed close to us. That was when the Fox took that intercept off his own try line, which looked like he was 20 metres offside. But apparently he wasn't. He had his feet behind the line. So there you go. Michael was pretty sure he was there. Adam, do you think we'll get RCG? Sorry, just my gut's a bit full. I've got to realign myself. I'll answer that question. My newest member. Is it just rumours that Jack is being traded for a Ravalawa? Well, let's get into some juicy talk. We'll start with RCG. I don't think we'll sign Regan Campbell-Gillard. I'll tell you the reasons why we would. He can play. I felt he was one of Parramatta's best this year, and he did win their award. But every game he played, he was good. With the ball, fantastic. Without the ball, I felt that he didn't let his side down at all. From the eye test, he looked like he was working his ass off out there and played pretty long minutes. Don't know why he's the one they're letting go, to be honest. But there you go. Frees up some cap space for them, and obviously whatever their coach is looking at doing, that's the direction they're going in. He had ties with Gus. Gus signed him up on a big deal. Then he was let go. I think he went after when I have to get the timelines right on this. I can't remember. Because I remember he signed up Wanga Blake in RCG, and he had some good players there. And then put on long-term deals, and then they were sort of let go early. Not sure if they let go before Gus left or after he left. But either way, I'm pretty sure there's a good relationship there and a good belief in the player's ability. And I think you will get a lift in RCG's performance for a couple of years. Like, I think he will go to a new club and be a weapon. I think we can afford him as well. So they're all the reasons why he would come. The reasons why he won't come, I don't think there's an interest to sign any more forwards. Tom Amone is a genuine middle. He's not huge by any means. So, Tupanua, I wouldn't call a genuine middle at all. I'd call him an edge player. He's not big by any means. Looks bigger than he is. And we've got kids like Jack Underhill, who seems to have grown last year, and he's only going to get bigger. Jack Todd looks like he'll be playing in the middle for the rest of his career. And I think they're looking at these players, Lipboy, Hotboy. These are the kids that are going to take us through the next stage of where we're going. whether that's top 4 or fighting this to be a top 8 team for a few years until whatever comes to me, it's the foundation. Do they go in there out there every game and are they really hard to bloody beat? Because that's where you got to start. And you can have peaks and troughs in that. You can have periods where you climb the ladder and then you can have a little drop. You know, I don't think it's going to go. If it goes like Penrith, after about 2 years, they went right up the table and made a prelim. And then they were expected to do well for about the next 3 years and sort of underperformed while they were developing these kids. We always had the cap ability to buy players they needed to buy because you let go a heap of fellas, and then, you know, got them to a position where they were like making the finals, and then it was time for him to go. And since then, 5 grand finals in a row. If we follow the progress of the Panthers under Gus, we're going to miss finals a few more times over the next couple of years. And I know people don't want to hear that, but that could happen. This competition is tough. Like, again, West Tigers, they're not going to get wooden spoon next year. I just cannot see that happening. They will get some things right. I expect Dragons to do better. I expect lots of teams to do better. Then you got to which teams are going to drop out and do worse. We keep waiting for Penrith to fall over. We keep waiting for the Storm to fall over. The Storm, I haven't seen a team play so poorly, in my opinion, over a season and be just to win the minor premiership by as much as they have. To have so many periods of their games where they haven't looked dominant. You know, to summarise Melbourne, when Manly beat us the other week, I've seen Melbourne have been like that Manly side in about 7 or 8 games this year, where they've somehow won that match against an opposition team, you know. And now they're there. I think they're going to be hard to beat, really hard to beat. So that's my RCG. I've gone off track. Let's go on to Timmy's question. Is it just a rumour that Josh Addo-Carr is being traded for Ravalawa? Look, mate, there's a lot of assumptions made by this media circus here. I would suggest that about 10 to 20% of it may have some legs from all the stories that come out. So you don't know which one's which, unfortunately. There's been some ones where I've gone, no, this isn't true, and it's turned out to be true. But for the most part, they're wrong. And they're proven wrong on a minute-by-minute basis. It's essentially they just sit there and fantasize about the possibilities and what they think could happen. Good indication of that was essentially this whole Braden Trindle push, which has happened. And Creepy Crawley goes out there and he says that, oh, Nico Hines gets $1 million. So Braden, he's going to feel like ripped off that he's running that side and he's on a 300 grand, you know, and all of a sudden they start talking about everywhere where Braden Trindle can go. And Zero Tackle says Braden Trindle, his most likely number one destination would be the Bulldogs. Now, I'm not ruling it out. And that's the second article. Last week, it was Ben Hunt for the third time in 18 months is coming to the Bulldogs. With the disclaimer, no offence to Toby Sexton. And then they say, which is a complete lie, because no one in the club has come out and expressed concern to the fucking media that they were unhappy with Toby Sexton's performance in that final. Of course they're not going to fucking come out and say that. But they can just assume that we lost the game and we were winning, so they can just throw this, you know, fucking thing out there that it's game management suffered, so Toby's at fault. So the Bulldogs are unhappy with Toby. So we're going to go and get Braden Trindle now, or we're going to get Ben Hunt and get everyone thinking about that. It's just all bullshit, the whole lot of it. Now, that's not to say Ben Hunt may not end up at the Bulldogs. He may, because Gus Gould and that, they're into producing the best top 30 they can every season for the club and for the fans, that they think is going to be the best team to get us to win a premiership and beyond, within the realms of what our economy is as far as our salary cap, because each team's salary cap is a different economy, right? And in the Sharks, someone like Braden Trindle is worth 300 grand. To another team, he might be worth 600. And this is where the talk comes from. But it's all just, we can all do it. We can all come up with the scenarios as good as any of these media people can. And what frustrates me the most is and we, even on All Things Bulldogs, we do it as well, because you're trying to get news out there to people and give them content. But the disclaimer also has to be bullshit alert, bullshit alert. Anyway, we've got another $10. Thank you so much, mate. Super chat comment from Chopper. So we'll go to this before we continue. Chopper's best two Bulldogs lineup: Luke Patton, the general at fullback; Hazem El Masri, Chris Mortimer, Nigel Vunganar. Very good selection. God, he should have won a premiership with the Bulldogs. God, what a season did he have? Matty Utai, Terry Lamb, Turvey Mortimer, Peter Kelly, Joe Thomas, David Cement Gillespie, Paul Dunn, Stephen Folkes, who in my opinion is the best Bulldog clubman of all time. Okay? And I'm not the only one who thinks that way. If they're ever going to build another statue, I think it has to be of Stephen Folkes. I'm pretty sure they have a nice plaque there, though, recognising him. But if they're ever going to build another statue, I think Folkes is the man to win premierships as a player, as a coach, as a waterman, as a trainer, as a high-performance coach. He's done it all with Canterbury. And to then get employment with the Australian cricket team, wow. He was so good, and before his time, and died way before his time as well. Vale, Stephen Folkes. Jimmy Dimmick, who probably should have been a Canterbury coach as well. And many would say that. George Paponis on the bench. Dr. George Paponis, what a player. Captained us to come back and be that entertainers team. God, they scored some good tries, that team, 78, 79, 80. Greg Brentnell, another fantastic fullback, put that kick up for the try of the century. Willie Mason, Mark O'Mealy, and 18th man, Sonny Bill Williams. I tell you what, I love Sonny Bill so much. So that's a great side, and that side would challenge any best Bulldogs team that you could assemble, in my opinion. Thanks for that, Chopper, and thanks again. Bloody hell, mate. Much appreciated. $10. Thank you so much. Anyway, Timothy Gray. I've had a brief look at the post on Facebook of the Samoan team to play England. They look very strong on paper. What are your thoughts? Also, who do you think will win the Australian fullback spot? Before I go there, Tim, I'm just going to go back through a couple of others that I'll let through. Gus said 100% footy that we'd look at it. Yeah, and that's the way Gus is about things too, man. Like, I call it the recruitment wars, right? Gus and the Bulldogs rarely distance themselves from any signings. We don't say a word. And whenever Gus or Serrato are asked, I remember when they're talking about Oitika Manu with Cameron Serrato, and this was like literally hours before it was announced he was going to Melbourne. He's like, oh, we'd love to have him. He's a quality player, blah, blah, blah. You know, knowing full well that he wasn't coming to the Bulldogs. And they know by being linked, if a player's not coming to us, being linked to us has just added money to that player's paycheck, which they're happy for that player to earn as much as they can earn. That's Gus wants people to earn as much as they can earn, which is why he doesn't stand in the way of players that say, look, I've got an opportunity to get paid good money to go somewhere. And that happens, you know. They're like, yep, well, you're going to make more elsewhere. You got to go. And if you're thinking of going, you should go. You know, they don't. It's like they don't get into a bidding war. They know what a player's worth. They offer that player what they think they're worth in line with what we need and how it fits in with our cap. I think Penrith have done the exact same thing, and that's all Gus. Comes to Canterbury, gets our cap and our foundation around that the same way. If RCG wants to come to us, and if he's worth 600 to us, but he needs 800 from us, we're not going to pay it. Simple. If he's not even really talking with us and he's talking to other clubs, but the media is saying that he's coming to Canterbury, they're not going to deny it. Canterbury aren't going to deny it, because it means that player is going to be, that other club is going to have to pay more for that player. And that's the recruitment wars, right? So when the Sharks paid $1 million for Adam Fanua-Blake, if Canterbury weren't linked to it, maybe they get him for 900. You know what I mean? You know, it's putting extra dollars onto what other clubs have to pay for their players, and that makes room. And what happened out of that? Remember what happened out of that? The Cronulla had to make room in their salary cap to get Adam Fanua-Blake. All right? Player swap was done. We got Connor Tracy. They got one of our young players, right? And Connor Tracy, having Connor Tracy and Blake Taft there this year for fullback was really good for us. And, you know, that worked out great for us. It really did. So there you go. Adam says, man, I hope we keep the Fox. Yeah, let's talk about the Fox. Let's talk about him. Ravel, so they're saying that we said, no, we don't want Ravel. So that's one of these stories where the headline is we're going to swap him for Ravalawa, and then the last line says the Bulldogs actually poured cold water on Ravalawa, saying they're not interested. So there won't be a swap for Ravalawa because we don't want him. And that apparently came from the Bulldogs. The journalists in News Corp have put two and two together and realised that if the Dogs sack Josh Addo-Carr for 2025, we still have to wear his portion of his salary on our salary cap for next year if we terminate his contract or let him walk. So the only way we get any relief is if we get a player swap, or, you know, if we keep him on our books and a club offers to take him off our hands, right? That's the only way. And a club might say, look, we'll pay 300 of Josh's salary and you can pay 200 on your salary for next year, which frees us up for 300 grand rather than us sacking him. So I think it's come down to a point where the club, you know, all this media about sponsors are unhappy and all this. So I just knocked off something, but that's all good. And that, you know, certain board members might be unhappy, and Gus has basically come out and said how the Constitution works, that Gus makes his recommendations and then the board votes on it and ratifies it. If they all agree, all say aye, or all say nay, or whatever. And then that's what they do. And that's how it works. The board has Gus and Adam, they all run the club. But if they want to get things done, they still have to get the board to sign off on it, on a number of things. So there's so much innuendo out there. People think they know the answers because of what the media is saying and just making things up in their head about what's happening. All we know for sure is that Gus has basically said some key little things which have led the media sort of move in a certain direction, if that makes sense, where essentially the Dogs aren't happy. We're happy to let Fox go. But it's got to probably got to be under a situation where another club is willing to come and sort of take him away from us. He's not going to be sacked because it's not in our best interests to sack him even. And look, Gus is someone who literally does not care if he looks like a hypocrite between his role as a commentator and his role as a Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs head of football. So he would not lose 1 ounce of sleep on what he said about Latrell Mitchell, and then if he goes in a different direction with the Fox. It would not worry him at all. He's just going to do what he thinks is the best for our club. Even if he said our club wouldn't tolerate it. But I think Gus has felt that Latrell's been overvalued in the South Sydney system for quite a while. If you've listened to his comments, like he said stuff like he's not a big game player at NRL level, which is interesting. But at the same time, he's a media personality. That's his job, to create controversy and create advertising and talking points, you know. So there we go. Potential Taylor Samoan team to face England. They're saying RCG going to the Gold Coast. I'll look at your Taylor Samoa team to face England, Tim, because I'm interested in that. Yeah, well, they've got Tino Fa'amausili. I don't know how they can afford him, to be honest. No idea how they could afford him. I could see the Gold Coast offering Braden Trindle some money in the halves. I could see that for sure. But RCG, I don't know how they can afford Tino and Fafita and there's other players. They've got Mo Fotuaika and a bunch of others. I just don't know how they can afford him, to be honest. But I've heard the rumor, Adam. Timmy, I saw the lineup that was on Facebook was their best possible lineup that they could come up with, and that's what you've named here. So that's not the side which is going to that's the potential team. That's right. So that's the talent they've got. They could assemble into a side which would compete with any side at international level. Yeah. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, Murray Tuolangi, the Hammer, Critter, Brian To'o, Dylan Brown, Jerome Luai, Payne Huss, Chanel Harris-Tavita, Moses Leota, Jeremiah Nenai, Jaden Sewer, Tino Fa'amausili, Suolavi Falongo, I should say, Spencer Lenu, Nelson Asafa Solomona, Stefano Oitikamanu. Very good side, but they will that side, a lot of those players will be in the Australian team, or the New Zealand side. So there you go. But it is very interesting and food for thought, Tim. Welcome again, Ross. Gus has given Buzz a gig next home game at Belmore selling hot dogs. Yeah, hopefully he'll be sucking on a few hot dogs as well. Status Tomb, welcome. No reason why Blake Wilson can't take Addo-Carr's place. Well, I'm wondering where Mark is. Mark's pissed off. Because Mark would be, his comment, which I'm waiting to come up, would say that Blake Wilson is the best winger in the club. I don't think he is. And even when the Josh Addo-Carr, if he does leave, Blake Wilson would definitely ascend up the ranks. I think he'd be in our top 2 best wingers in our club. Because I think Jacob Carraz is the best winger in our club right now. I think he's more important to us than any other player in that back line. As far as what he does through work, and he does inspire his teammates. He offloads, he does a lot. And hopefully he gets a good rest in this preseason because we're going to need him big time for 2025. So there you go, guys. So next week we're going to do a panel. So Mark O'Connell will be on. Hopefully get Jimmy Russler and a couple of others. And we will be going through our grand final preview, which most are assuming will be Melbourne versus Penrith. It's very much looking like that way, but it's been a weird season, as I've said numerous times. So there you go. And Tim sent me a picture of the Toa Samoa potential squad as well to my private Facebook. Thank you. All right. Hayze Perham. Let's talk about Hayze. Now, Hayze Perham has been linked to be going to the Brisbane Broncos, and I think there is a lot of potential for this to happen. The Dogs, when they go on a road trip to Brisbane, tend to take some players that they're trying to shop around. And I have no doubt that some players come along for the journey like Hayze Perham did. To be there as a backup, but also potentially have discussions with managers of rival clubs. Because, I don't believe he'll be playing for the Bulldogs next year. I don't think that was ever the plan. I think he's known that for a while. And I think the club are trying to help him. Because, look, he copped a lot last year. He wasn't the reason we lost a lot of games. Did he help us win games? It's hard. It's hard to be in a side which is not doing much for any player to really be singled out. But our fans manage to do it all the time. In a team that was going forward this year, Hayze Perham may have been able to contribute, but he had better performed players in front of him, and he was unable to crack it, which is good, which has meant we've had a good season, and I'm happy about that. And I think he'll be the perfect backup for the Broncos because he's someone who's had some experience and he can do the work. He does talk in defence. And, he'll be well liked up there, like he's well liked amongst our Bulldogs club. So, hopefully he gets another gig somewhere, and I'm sure it'll be on a minimum contract amount or not much more than that. And our club is trying to help him get a job with the Broncos. And I reckon he would have met with their management a while ago. So that's what I believe. I could be wrong. Wouldn't have been surprised if some others as well went up there for a bit of a discussion that were on their way. Doggies. Tiger dead. Okay. Timmy, I thought Hayze could have come in as a back on the wing or in the centres, but with a great addition to Broncos. I wish him all the best. Yeah, perfectly said, mate. I could have said that in that little succinct way. That would have been better. So we won't be going as long tonight. A little bit less to talk about, but looking at our players for next year. So we will start looking at, and I'll probably do some videos dedicated to Satili Tupanua. Well, I will do some. We might see some young players that they sign. I think they just signed a young guy who's really fast, really from up north in Queensland somewhere, maybe from the Broncos system. So there'll be some young kids we sign that'll play in our SG Ball and in our Harold Mats and in our flag next year. They'll get some additional talent. Might have a look at Carla Lawapu as well and focus on what he might do next year. We'll look at Tom Amone and put together our sides that we think will be, that can do the job. And it's going to be really hard because we have fallen in love with a lot of these players that have stepped up. And where do they fit in next year? Chopper's come in again. Thank you so much, mate. You've got your second best side. This is your second best team. I like this a lot. You've got me thinking now, like we've got to do something with this Chopper. We've got to do something with this. Ewan McGrady, did you see he's made a comeback at 60 years of age? Like there's literally, you could name a team of McGrady's right now. Like there's still so many relatives of Ewan that are playing rugby league out in bush. This is a good side. Ewan McGrady, Jacob Carraz, Josh Morris, Matt Burton, Josh Addo-Carr, Josh Reynolds, Craig Polamauna, Paul Langmack, Jason Hetherington, Stephen Price, Jacob Preston, Andrew Ryan, Peter Tunks. I might swap Langmack and Tunks around though, but I think you've done that. No, you haven't done it that way. Back in the day though, Tunks wore 13, didn't he? Because they had the numbers around different. We had our the two prop forwards wore 11 and 13, and the hooker wore 12 back in the day. Yeah, that's good. I like that team. Jordi Mazzoni eligible for Italy. I'd say he probably is. You only need a little bit of European blood to get a passport in Europe anyway. I can get a passport to Italy right now if I want. My great-grandfather was Italian, so there you go. Chopper's going off. He certainly is. And I fucking love, literally, I love Chopper. I love the bloke who impersonates him. I love Eric Banner's version of him. I love Chopper myself. It's like a dream come true. Fucking hell, and what's his name? The bloke who impersonates him. I went and saw him. He's a champion. He draws the tats on and I remember him reading out a postcard of someone who was giving him shit and they've got their address on it. He goes, why the fuck would you insult me and then give me my address like I'm Chopper Reed, like you dickhead? It's fucking hilarious. You got to be there. Still love that movie. Eric Banner did a wonderful job. Boom 20, boom 10, boom 10. Shout out to Chopper. Fucking yeah. And don't worry, it'll be paid forward. Trust me. Fucking oath. Thanks, Adam. I'd have either Bobcat or Jacko in my back row. Yeah, lots of debate with these teams. And Chopper's throwing it out there and put his money where his mouth is as well. Anyone know what Adam Bridson is up to these days? No, I don't, status team, but I remember Adam played a few games of first grade for the Bulldogs, and he was definitely, I'm pretty sure he was one of our stars in our younger team that won a comp as well. I'm pretty sure.
Could be wrong. I do remember Adam, but I have no idea. But if you go on to Ultimate Berries or the history of Canterbury Ranks Down Rugby League, there's the different groups. You got past and present. There's another one where they've got some people in their groups that are just dedicated to recognising all the players. And some of the ex-players are actually members on those groups as well and pop up and say hello sometimes. So definitely go out there and check those groups out because they are dedicated and they're not about the controversy. And although they do have members who bring up some controversial bullshit, but for the most part, you're just getting information and content and support of being part of this great club of Canterbury Bankstown Berries and Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. That's understanding that we're all part of an exclusive club. We all own the club together, and whether we're winning or losing, that's not the be all and end all. It's about being part of a club that has had all these past greats in it as well, and sharing that legacy together. And that's what it's all about. Win or fucking lose. But I tell you what, when you feel your team's playing well and they deserve to win and they lose, fuck, that's heartbreaking. Anyway, he's about to stop the live. Bobcat was in, so I just put the 13. Yeah, no dramas there, Chopper. Yeah, Eric Banner did the movie, which is there's a fellow who does Chopper. His name's Mark. No, that's Chopper's name. Forget his name, but there's a bloke who actually does he's been doing it for about 15 years. He's a stand-up comedian and he goes around doing Chopper. Fuck. Just search him on YouTube, Adam. Hilarious, mate. Love it. Adam Perry at 9, he's another one. You know, look, he wasn't flashy, was he? But God, he got him and young Corey Hughes. Perfect combination. Yeah, Chopper agrees, 100% Adam Perry. It's all about having fun and spending time with family and friends. That's it, my friend. That's what we're doing now. Who else have we got? So we've got to work out what's going to happen with players like who's going to be in our top 17 next year. Tony Grimaldi, who was running the water for years as well. Another one who just, we get these players who just go to work, don't they? And it looks like that's what I've loved about 2024. It's the players who remind you of the Tony Grimaldis, the Steve Reardons, the Billy Johnstons, the Mark Bugdens, the players that didn't get all the fanfare, right? The Adam Perrys, the Robert Ralphs. That's what the Bulldogs are. You know, we've had so many stars in our club, but you go through from 1980 and before that, but that's pretty much when I was getting right into it, all the way through to now. We haven't had enough of those players. Like Josh Jackson falls into that category as well, but he had that higher level talent. And Steve Folkes, I put Josh Jackson into the same sort of categories as a Steve Folkes, just hard workers, non-compromising, but also had a bit of skill as well. And just put it all on the line every week and played above their weight. But it's these players that just go to work for the Dogs. And this year we brought in players like Kurt Mann. Just go to work. Jamin Salmon, just go to work. Not flashy, not the best, but added something to our team. Just added a bit more desperation, a bit more grit. That's what I loved about it. And that's the Bulldogs. It's not about all these flashy players.
It's the workers who get in there and do their job, go about it, and become Bulldogs legends for life. And I see that with Harry Hayze. I see that with Kurt Mann. Kurt Mann might only be here for 2 years, but he'll go down as someone who is part of our jump up the ladder and one of the key reasons for it. And I believe we missed him a heap in the last few games. Josh Curran's another one. Jacob Preston, now he's doing some great things on that field. And even Carraz, like statistically the best player in the comp this year. But it's their heart in the way they go to work and do the tough stuff. That's the Bulldogs now. That's what we're built on. And that's what we've got back to. And that's where we've got to stay. And whether that takes us to grand finals next year or within the next 5 years or 10 years, that for me, the grand finals are a blessing. You get an opportunity, it's a blessing. You win, it's a fucking lifetime memory event. But not every team's going to get it. Look how long Cronulla had to wait. Look how long Parramatta are waiting. How long has it been since West played semis? Like, this comp is tough. You've got to fucking sit there and be blessed by the good and back this club and this team to get us back there, however long it fucking takes. Well said by me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Back to you guys. Let's do a live. I'm sure you would love it. Chopper Bulldog. Would love to do a live with you. Well, mate, I'll tell you what, Chopper, we'll have to catch up, brother. So come join. If you've got Facebook, join All Things Bulldogs. Mention me in. We'll get you as a friend on Facebook or whatever it is, whatever you prefer. And then I can get to meet you and stuff and have a chat, and then you can come on for sure. 100%, mate. We're going to have shows all through the off season, and fuck it, mate. You've earned it, and you've added a lot while you've been here as well. It's short, sharp, it's sweet, and it's fucking good. So thank you very much. We'll definitely have you on here. And Status Tomb has come in with the players that we're talking about. The Mitch Newtons, the Brad Morans, the David Thompsons, the Tim Browns even. You know, those players. That's those players. They're the ones. They're the ones that fill those gaps, that do the bloody work without all the fanfare. All right. Who wants a chop a live? I want a chop live for sure. 100%. Well, I'll get you on Facebook, Chopper, and we'll have a chat, and you can come on for sure. We'll get Chopper Bulldogs. G'day, Scary. Welcome back, mate. I love the car on the front of your pic. That picture's good, man. I like your car there. Yep. Chopper, you heard it here. Get on the Facebook. Join All Things Bulldogs group. Reach out. I'm Michael Jeffrey. We'll get you on the Facebook Messenger, and we'll catch up through there. Then I'll get you onto the podcast, and we'll do Chopper Live. Can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. That will make my day, because obviously you know a bit about how some of our past. Obviously have a deep appreciation for the 80s, 100%, and everything in between then and now. So I just can't believe the money you've been putting into the podcast, and Much appreciated. Love it. All right. So that's what's coming up. We'll have the Jersey Flegg. We'll go through that game next week. Get onto the Bulldogs site. They've got some articles about the Jersey Flegg. They've also got a nice interview with what's his bloody name? The old Sharks second rower who does all the New South Wales Cup stuff. I always forget their name. He speaks with whoever he speaks with. Forget his name. The old Penrith, Luke, whatever his name was, the winger who turned into a second rower. Brain's not working. But Luke Smith has a nice little chat with him, and that goes for a couple of minutes. And we'll do a rundown of the win, hopefully, from Saturday. Hopefully there's lots of you to get out there and Luke Lewis, thanks, Timmy. Bloody hell, mate. I'm losing my brain. But get out there at the game. And if you're on the podcast, catch up, meet up, become friends, get connected. Meet up at the game, have a chat, have a beer together or a coffee, whatever it is. Support the club together. And come onto the podcast next week and say hello. If anyone has any info they get from it or any insights that they see at the game, things that they watch, I want to hear about their thoughts from the sidelines. What happened? Feel free to get on the All Things Bulldogs Facebook group or any other group you're on and talk about what you saw. Get it out there. Get people aware of the kids coming through. It's a good way to go about it. Thoughts on Reece Martin? Did we lose a real Bulldog? Reece Martin. I liked Reece. And I felt one of his best games was that heartbreaking loss to the Raiders at Belmore, where I thought he scored the match winner, and he was kicking quite well. He's done well in England since he went over there. They let him go for a reason. So obviously all wasn't going, wasn't in alignment with the club at the time, obviously, and what he wanted. And he got to leave. So I think Reece Martin, I don't think we got to see the best of Reece Martin at the Bulldogs. I think with the right coach and if the timing was different, I think he could have been someone who added a lot to the Bulldogs. But look, defensively, I don't think he's in that same mould as some of those others. But in saying that, defending on an edge in a team which is struggling and getting pumped most weeks and losing more games than they're winning, it's never an easy gig. But I felt he added a lot. He obviously a really good goal kicker and could throw an offload. He had a good tackle in him, and he worked. But as far as I wouldn't consider him as one of the best Bulldogs I've ever seen. But if he was in one of those eras with the teams that were successful, I guess, you could. Maybe he could have come up in that conversation. We'll never know. We will never know, unfortunately. Also, I think that Viliami Kikau is one of the best players to ever come to our club. A lot of people won't agree with that, but I love Kikau and I love what he does off the ball more so than what he does with it. I might see Steve Rinn at the game like when I attended the Bulldogs Raiders game at Belmore earlier this year. Well, his son's going to be there. I'd say he'll probably be in the inner sanctum, or they'll have. But, that's the time where you catch up with these people, and you might see a few Bulldogs players there as well. So if you do, go say hello to them if you can. Yeah, very handy goal kicker. And it was a good question asked, and thank you very much for that status too. I did have an old mate who loved Reece Martin, and he still complains that he left the club. Apparently, he still talks about it. So, it just used to be one of those things that get at you, and you just every time you sort of get triggered by something that comes up again. Well, that was Reece Martin for this bloke. So every time he'd be talking about recruitment and a recruitment error with the club, Reece Martin would come up because he believed it was a big error for us to let go of Reece Martin. So I sort of get it. He had his fans, and he's one of those players at the time we didn't want to lose. Also believe that if we didn't lose Corey Hawera-Naira the way we did, and with what happened to Jade Knockenball and him when they went away, if that didn't happen, and they were able to learn some harsh lessons without it being that bad sort of thing, that it didn't have to go public. Like lessons, all these things are learn lessons for people to learn. But for us, they have to learn them in the harshest possible bloody way. Now, if they could have stayed at our club, I felt we were on the verge of doing something, and that really set us back another year or two, or that incident. But in saying that, good Bulldog sides of the past, when they face adversity, they turn it into wins. They turn it into, they shut all the doors, they block out all the noise, batten down the hatches. They say, fuck you to the media. They don't worry about it. And they get in there and they win. Every time. So maybe those boys... So I've just sort of contradicted myself. But I've sort of come to an awakening as I've said it. Anyone would think I'm drinking piss. But the point is that maybe that side just didn't have the resilience in it. Because our club this year even had some issues, right? And they dug in hard for us and for themselves. And I think they believed they were going to win the comp as much as many of our fans did. So we'll take that. We'll steal that. And we'll go again next year. $100 chat not coming up. Oh, my God, Chopper. You don't have to, mate. It can't accept all that money. I don't know what it is. You've broken YouTube. Where did Reece Martin go? Adam says he went to England. I think he went to Leeds, maybe, or somewhere. I can't remember, but he's still there, and I think he won won their best player award and stuff. Dallas McElwain. I actually do remember him, mate. I think he only played. We only saw him for one season. Was he like a? I remember him. Yeah, I do remember him. God, you're asking some good questions, mate. Yeah, he went to England. The thought that counts there, Chopper. Seriously, mate. But we'll have a chat together. We'll become mates. And I need a backup. All right, we're going to approve you live on All Things Bulldogs. Let's go. Let's manage this. I'll do it on my phone. 3 new member requests. Is that you, Brett? I mean, Chopper. All right. There we go. Sorry, I've gone quiet.
Bloody hell. What happened there? Yeah, I'll tell you what, Jared Hickey, mate, what a player he was. He was one which just, I thought he was going to be huge for us, eh? I'll tell you, he was one of my favourites, was young Kyle White. And he actually passed away, unfortunately. Last year, I think, or the year before or something, he passed away. But he was another one who, God, he could hit that fella. Oh, my God. So did I get you all approved, Chopper? Or what's happened with that? If you're in the Navy, my son's trying to join the Navy. All right. This is what we do when we're live. Yeah, well said, Aussie. We're live and we're trying to add Chopper's best. Jimmy Bartos lost weight around the guts. He should be right. Sammy the Turk lost sight of things but will recover. Shazza, her mum, is no longer upset. My dad. You made me hit your mother. It was terrible. Good old Shazza. Felt sorry for Shazza. What are you doing, mate? Can't get up, mate. It's just a knife wound. Want a cigarette? Fucking love that movie. Did you get any Chopper art? You become an artist and stuff. He was selling them for big money too. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap this up. We've talked about some things. Anyone got any other questions I want to go through? Because, yeah, I'm struggling a bit tonight. The brain's not working as good as it usually does. And that's not good. But trying to get it out there. Get out there and support the kids. Support the team. And tell us what your thoughts are. We're going to have a grand final edition next week. So I've got about 4 or 5 people lined up for that, which would be good. And we'll all give our predictions on who's going to win and blah, blah, bloody blah, and see who gets it right. We'll talk about the Bulldogs Jersey Flegg win, hopefully, and everything else that's come up since then. And I'm sure there'll be lots of stories between now and then to talk about. But, yeah, I'll see you next week too, my brother. Once again, thank you, Chopper, 100%. Just overwhelmed by your support. Thank you very much. And looking forward to the game Sunday. Go the mighty Bulldogs, 100%. All right, I'm going to say goodbye now, guys. And the Dogs will win the 2024 Grand Final. They will. And we can still be right about that, can't we? Doesn't have to be the NRL side, does it? So there you go. And as someone said, winning isn't just the way our club celebrated. You know, if you were someone who time travelled and you landed in 2024 in the middle of Belmore after we just won a regular season game towards the end of the season, you would have thought we'd won the bloody grand final, wouldn't you? So there you go. You have an awesome week too, mate. See you, Michael. See you, Adam. See you, Chopper. See you, everybody. Status Tomb, Ross Palmer, Mark O'Connell, who's gone walkabout, Dave, Jamie. See you all later, champions. We'll talk next week and have a good time. All right, I'm out of here. Good night, everyone. Go the Dogs.